Explosive new documents released by outgoing DNI Tulsi Gabbard, reviving questions about Dr. Anthony Fauci's role in funneling taxpayer dollars to experiments tied to the origins of COVID-19 in Wuhan, China. Our correspondent Brooke Taylor is reporting live on this out of Dallas. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Sandra. Well, Tulsi Gabbard released hundreds and hundreds of pages of declassified documents that she says shows a massive COVID-19 cover-up.
I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions.
The documents show intelligence officials weighing the lab leak theory as early as March of 2020. One official wrote that policymakers were hearing claims the virus was, quote, genetically engineered. Another asked, it's possible it could have been engineered, right? Gabbard points to whistleblower allegations that intelligence analysts who supported the lab leak theory, well, they face professional consequences and retaliation. The documents also focus on U.S. taxpayer-funded COVID research tied to China. According to the records, EcoHealth Alliance received funding from the National Institutes of Health for a project called, quote, Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence. The documents identify the Wuhan lab as a research partner and show at least $66,500 in U.S. grant money was spent in China. Now, one of the most explosive claims made is that Fauci allegedly lied under oath during his 2024 congressional testimony, where he denied knowledge of discussions with U.S. intelligence officials about that COVID-related research.
The second issue is a false accusation that I tried to cover up the possibility that the virus originated from a lab. In fact, the truth is exactly the opposite.
And we have tried to reach out to Fauci for comment about these documents and allegations. We reached out to the Georgetown Global Health Institute. Still waiting to hear back, Sandra.
All right, Brooke Taylor out of Dallas on that for us. Brooke, thank you. John.
All right, Sandra, more on this now. Dr. Marc Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst. This all revolves around this famous moment from May 11th, 2021, where Dr. Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, and Dr. Fauci go around the horn on whether or not the U.S. ever funded gain-of-function research at the WIV. Listen here.
The NIH and NIAID categorically has not funded gain-of-function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We have not funded gain-of-function research on this virus in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I don't know how many times I can say it, Madam Chair. We did not fund gain-of-function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
So, Doc, from what we know of this document released from the ODNI, does that change?
Yeah, here's how I look at this, and you could call it semantics or you can call it what you want. I'm not going to look at it legally, but first of all, I interviewed Dr. Fauci multiple times during the pandemic, and it was clear to me that he believed strongly that it didn't come from the lab, but he was looking for allies in that belief, including George Gao, head of CDC in China. And he said to me multiple times, I have an open mind about this, but he was clearly convinced it didn't come from the lab, and he looked for narratives to support that. Now, when he says, and this is the tweak part, we at the NIH did not fund gain-of-function research, here's what really is true. The NIH did fund EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak, who was working and funding direct research from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and Xi Li, who was running this research, where they did add human receptors. And this is what's coming out of the Tulsi Gabbard documents. They did add human receptors to bat coronaviruses. He says not specifically that bat coronavirus, but it's enough to make anybody watching us right now pretty nervous about it. And I also know that research was going on between North Carolina, by the way, and that lab in Wuhan Institute of Virology for many years, where they made new bat coronaviruses called chimeras that got closer and closer to human transmission. So was the wet market a super spreader event? And was where this came from, the lab? A lot of people believe that that's the more likely explanation, including Dr. Ashish Jha, who I interviewed last week about this, who worked directly with Biden as well. Right. So I think the best way to look at this is that Fauci was pushing the narrative he thought was true, but that did a disservice to the American public.
And unfortunately, Dr. Siegel, if you take yourself back to that time, Dr. Fauci was in such high-level key roles during the pandemic that in a way, we all sense that he was sort of shielded from scrutiny during all of this.
Yeah, and he was looking very carefully, Sandra. This also came out of the Tulsi Gabbard documents. He was looking very carefully at the pangolin, which was falsely believed to be the intermediate creature between the bat and the human. Then later, research out of Arizona State started looking at raccoon dogs, which is more likely. But again, the ultimate view now is it's more likely the lab. But he was backing that kind of research. And what her documents show is the excess focus on the pangolin, which ended up being a rabbit hole that wasn't what people thought.
Yeah. Doc, real quick, just before we end here, Fauci apparently met, according to these documents, with the CIA June 2nd, 2021. This in the Post. Documents make it clear the CIA was aware that Wuhan staff became ill in late 2019, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and I think that too, and the CIA has recently released that, or at least a year or two ago, that our intelligence communities had a lot of suspicion about that lab going back. And, I've looked at that. There was a lot of documents that were redacted. There were people in 2019 in the summer that were going to local hospitals sick with a strange virus. And, if you recall, John, last point, China has a history of suppressing information on outbreaks going all the way back to SARS-1. And we said after SARS-1, we're not going to believe them. Instead, a global alliance of scientists was formed that ended up leading to these theories again.
Dr. Siegel, also author of Miracles Among Us, a great read. If you haven't picked it up, please do so. How God's grace plays a role in healing. Incredible stories in that book. Dr. Siegel, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.